The 2016 presidential race is quickly becoming a two-person race with the general election looming. What would a Donald Trump, Secretary Hillary Clinton electoral map look like? Former senior advisor to President George W. Bush, Karl Rove, goes on the record. Nice to see you, Karl.
Greta, good to see you.
Well, Karl, Governor Jeb Bush says he's not voting for Trump. Senator Lindsey Graham says he's not voting for Trump. Have you made up your mind whether you're voting for Trump?
I'm watching the convention, and we got plenty of time for everybody. I'm not voting for a Democrat, and we all have plenty of time. Donald Trump endorsed John McCain in September 17th, I believe, of 2008. So we all got a little bit of time to watch and wonder. Well,
if nobody votes, or at least you have a whole day, you can have a whole barbecue. You all get together because nobody's going to be at the polls. All right. Okay. So tell me which states are must-wins. Tell me how this unfolds. Let's start first with Donald Trump.
Well, first of all, the Democrats in the last 6 presidential elections have taken states that have an aggregate of 242 electoral votes, which means the big enchilada for Donald Trump and, frankly, for Hillary Clinton is Florida, because Florida has 29 electoral votes. So if the Democrats win what they have won in the last 6 elections and one state, Florida, they win the presidential election. So that's why Florida is the key for Trump. He must take Florida or he has no chance of winning the presidency. If he takes Florida, he's got a shot. The next 2 big states are Ohio and Virginia. Ohio with 18 electoral votes and Virginia with 13. The Democrats have won these, obviously, in the last 2 presidential elections, much to the discomfort of the Republicans, and Trump needs to win those back. But even then, that's not enough to win the White House. That's enough to stave off the Democrats, but not enough yet to win the White House.
So what does he need to win the White House? Because he's got to win Florida, Virginia, Ohio, and maybe Pennsylvania?
Well, I think Pennsylvania is a test. Pennsylvania, the Trump argument is that he can win blue-collar Democrats in Midwestern and Mid-Atlantic and Northeastern states. And this is the blue state that the Republicans have come the closest in the last 4 elections. Bush, I think, lost about 3% in 2000. So this is his best shot, I think, for a big state that has traditionally voted Democrat. If he won it, let's say he wins Florida, and let's say he wins Ohio and Virginia, he wins Pennsylvania, he's in the White House. If he doesn't win Pennsylvania, then he's going to have to cobble it together, and I think with several other smaller states, the best shot of which I think is Iowa. Iowa has a older population, heavy manufacturing in the eastern side of the state, strongly conservative in the western side of the state, and President Obama's approval ratings there have been well below the national average. So it might be another state at which he's got a good shot.
All right. For either one of them, do you pick a vice president hoping to get a state, or do you pick a vice president hoping to get something else?
Well, vice presidents have very little impact except in their own home states. You could make the argument that a Florida pick might help him in Florida, which was lost by Mitt Romney by 0.7%. But political scientists who study this question find that the impact of the vice presidential candidate nationwide is de minimis, and in their home state very, very modest. In fact, there was an interesting study that said if you look at all the modern vice presidents, the vice president who increased the vote for his party in a state more than any other candidate was Richard B. Cheney in 2000 in Wyoming, and of course Wyoming was reliably Republican, and squeezing some more votes out of Wyoming didn't matter much nationwide.
Karl, one last question. So give me a name for each one of them. Who would be the smartest? One for Clinton and the other for Trump, if you're advising.
Well, you know, somebody from Florida would be good. Somebody from the industrial Midwest would be good for Trump. Interesting choices for Hillary Clinton would be Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, battleground state, Catholic, a man who spent time on a mission in Central America. And then the other one would be Sherrod Brown of Ohio, Union Democrat, sort of more aligned with the Elizabeth Warren wing of the party, and obviously Ohio, a battleground state.
Karl, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.